Oh, welcome to the Café Noir. It's nice of you to join us this afternoon. Now, today we've got something just a little bit different. I've been missing my killer kitchen, and I've been missing just having fun watching movies. But I think I may have found a loophole that will allow us to have some fun again. Maybe, maybe not. So after this commercial break, I'd like you guys to join us as we listen to Night Surf by Stephen King, audiobook, narrated by yours truly. And on the side, we'll be making some deep fried pork chops, some mashed potatoes, some greens, and who knows, we might even just get bored and have a little more fun. So stick around, we'll see you right here after this break. Makes 5. When I want to smoke a joint, I like to puff. It's the one and only paper out there that truly lets you know that you're smoking quality. And remember, the American way always was quality. So, the next time you run out to the store, grab yourself a pack of puff. And if the puff just isn't your thing, and you just want a good old-fashioned cigarette, well, my friends, we got you covered there. Try a roll. Roll that up and have yourself a smoke out of a quality paper. Puff and Roll are now available in select locations. And don't forget to try the Kings. All natural 100% hemp.
Do you know me? I travel all over the world, and the underworld too, constantly searching for new dreamscapes to invade. Believe it or not, some people still don't recognize me. That's why I carry this. And this Friday, I'll be traveling to your neighborhood in Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors. I'll be looking for you, so you'd better be there.
1, 2, Freddy's coming for you. 3, 4, he'll be back for more. 5, 6, got some nasty tricks. 7, 8, better stay up late. 9, 10, never sleep again.
Welcome to a night of total terror. Night of the living dead.
And welcome back. Now tonight, our feature is not really a feature at all, except that it's something that I kind of threw together. YouTube is really weird with their copyright. Some things are okay, other things aren't. Some things you'd think you would get in some kind of bullshit for, and then they don't touch you, but then other things you think are safe, and they fuck you. So, instead of playing guessing games and trying to bring you guys movies that, let's be honest, with the Copyright Act of 1977, it's just harder and harder to bring good content to more viewers, which is stupid. You would think these directors and actors would want their movie out there in abundance as long as people aren't making $1 off of it. That aside, what I decided to do was I think I may have found a loophole where we can still have some fun. Now, originally I was just doing little videos, a side project over the top of narration on audiobook. Even if it was just somebody on YouTube narrating the book, I could take that voice, I could take the reading, and I could make a cool video and give you something to look at instead of just one picture or a fucking picture of the damn book for 2 hours. And so as you guys watch this, you'll notice that it's a lot of screensavers or a lot of GIFs that have been spliced over on top of each other hundreds of times, including pictures overlapping. And in this way, I'm staying within the boundaries of no copyright. As our music playing normally, we would have our jazz, and I chose jazz because number one, I like jazz, and number two, the thing about the jazz was it was a safe music. So, what we're going to do, and what my plan today, is as we're cooking, we're going to be coming back and forth, and I would like you guys to simply enjoy the story, and at the same time, be able to get an insight into the difference between a movie and a book. And granted, this one, they never really made a movie yet. Give them time. They're getting desperate. If you listen, you'll notice a detail that took me damn near 30 years to put it together. But, you know, before we get started on that, let's get started cooking. So we're going to take some flour. We're going to use a half a cup. Just going to drop it right here into this red bowl. Ah, fuck me running. There. That makes up for what I dropped. Now, we're going to take some chili powder. Drop that in there. A couple tablespoons, you know. You can eyeball it. It doesn't take a whole lot. Now we're going to take some parsley. And then we're going to take this parsley, and we're actually going to set this to the side because we're going to need this to doctor up our box of taters. Why the box? Because honestly, $1.50 is a lot cheaper than the $5 or $6 that they want for a bag of potatoes. Granted, the bag of potatoes is worth it, but when you're broke and living in California under a liberal regime, sometimes the box is the best you can get. Also, we're going to add some onion powder right on top. Again, couple tablespoons, you know. Now on top of that, let's add some paprika, huh? Now that one, we're just going to throw a bunch in. I like my paprika. Ah, here we go. Gonna need these on our taters too. Some freeze-dried chives. Now granted, for those of you who have a yard and don't have a landlord that's up your ass every 5 seconds on stupid little shit, this is the best you can get. But if you have a yard, it's easy to grow them. I recommend fresh chives. For us, we're just going to throw some of these in. Nice little bit of flavor. And again, these two things we're going to need for our taters. So we're going to set them aside. And finally, we're going to take some... Oh shit, where'd it go? Oh, that's right. Our killer seasoning mix does not exist. We had an accident after the last show when we were doing cleanup, and the kitchen mix went everywhere, along with the jar. So, no mix for that today. So that's our seasoning. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take our whisk. Just whisk this all together, real nice. And we're going to add just a little more seasoning. I do have this, although it's not my seasoning mix. It's pretty close, it's just not as spicy as mine. And it doesn't taste as good. So, I tell you what it is, but the last time I talked about this stuff, I got in trouble and I had a cease and desist. Because, again, you would think the product, they would want them to talk about it, want you to go out and buy it. But nope, if you don't have the right legislation and you don't blow the right people, can't do it. Leave it to Hollywood. Which leads me to another detail, and I'm only going to say it once, and this is all I'm going to say. When you play with the devil, you get yourself burned. Okay, now, if you guys can see right in here, if you guys will look right down here on this corner, you'll be able to take a good, solid look. This is what we want. That consistency, that flavoring, I wish you were here to smell it. I mean, it's spicy, but yet it's a clean spicy. It's not the bite your nose spice. It's got one of those, damn, that I want it. I want it. Now I don't even want to wait for it to cook. Now, unfortunately, we're making pork, and you never want to eat that shit unless it's been cooked thorough. So we're going to take the rest of this flour, and we're going to put this away. If my back will let me. Ow. Okay, that hurt. We're good. Next, we're going to take some oil. Let's double check, make sure this fits. Yes, they will fit good. Now, I'm going to show you guys something. A lot of people don't know, when you're deep frying, especially if you don't have a deep fryer, you're just using a pan, right? Just make sure, see where that one pork chop or that steak or whatever you're deep frying, how deep does it go? Once you get the idea inside the pan, that's where you take and you just dump in and get it to a point where it's going to just cover it. Now, the reason you want to do that, really two reasons you want to do it that way. One, you want to conserve on the oil. Again, especially if you live in a Democrat, liberal-run state like Chicago, Detroit, California, New York, things cost more. They're more expensive. So, you're going to conserve your oil and use just what you need. Now, as I start to heat this up, this would be a good opportunity for you guys to start the story. So without further ado, this is Night Surf by Stephen King, narrated by Vincent Victorian, and we'll see you here after this. Night Surf by Stephen King. After the guy was dead, and the smell of his burning flesh was off the air, we all went back down to the beach. Corey had his radio, one of those suitcase-sized transistor jobs. They take about 40 batteries and also make and play tapes. You couldn't say the sound reproduction was great, but it sure was loud. Corey had been well-to-do before E6, but stuff like that didn't matter anymore. Even his big radio tape player was hardly more than a nice-looking hunk of junk. There were only 2 radio stations left on the air that we could get. One was WKDM in Portsmouth, some backwoods DJ who'd gone nutty religious. He'd play a Perry Como record, say a prayer, bawl, play a Johnny Ray record, read from Psalms, complete with each Salah, just like James Dean in East of Eden. Then bawl some more. Happy time, stuff like that. One day he sang Breathing in the Sheaves in a cracked, moldy voice that sent Needles and me into hysterics. The Massachusetts station was better, but we could only get it at night. It was a bunch of kids. I guess they took over the transmitting facilities of WRKO or WBZ after everybody had left or died. They only gave gag call letters like WDOPE or KUNT or WA6 or stuff like that. Really funny, you know? You could die laughing. That was the one we were listening to on the way back to the beach. I was holding hands with Susie. Kelly and Joan were ahead of us, and Needles was already over the brow at the point out of sight. Corey was bringing up the rear, swinging his radio. The Stones were singing Angie. "You love me?" Susie kept asking. "That's all I want to know. Do you love me?" Susie needed constant reassurance. I was her teddy bear. "No," I said. She was getting fat, and if she lived long enough, which wasn't likely, she'd get really flabby. She was already mouthy. "You're rotten," she said, and put a hand to her face. Her lacquered fingernails twinkled dimly in the half moon that had risen about an hour ago. What, are you gonna cry again? Shut up! She sounded like she was gonna cry, all right. We came over the ridge and I paused. I always have to pause. Before A6, this had been a public beach. Tourists, picnickers, runny-nosed kids and fat baggy grandmothers with sunburned elbows, candy wrappers and popsicle sticks in the sand. All the beautiful people necking on their beach blankets. Intermingled stretch of exhaust from parked cars, seaweed and copper tone oil. Now all that crap was gone. The ocean had eaten it. All of it. As casually as you might eat a handful of Cracker Jacks. There were no people to come back and dirty it again. Just us, and we weren't enough to make much mess. We loved the beach too, I guess. Hadn't we just offered it a kind of a sacrifice? Even Susie, little bitch Susie with her fat ass and her cranberry bell-bottoms. The sand was white and duned, marked only by the high tide line. Twisted skein of seaweed, kelp, hunks of driftwood. The moonlight stitched inky, crescent-shaped shadows and folds across everything. The deserted lifeguard tower stood white and skeletal, some 50 yards from the bathhouse, toward the sky like finger bone. And the surf, the night surf, throwing up great bursts of foam, breaking against the headlands. For as far as we could see in the endless attacks, maybe that water had been halfway to England the night before. "Angie, by the stones!" a cracked voice on Corey's radio said. "I'm sure you dug that one. A blast from the past, and that's a golden gas. Straight from the groove yard. A platter that matters. I'm Bobby, and this was supposed to be Fred's night, but Fred's got the flu. He's all swelled up." Susie giggled then, with the first tear still on her eyelashes. I started toward the beach, a little faster to keep her quiet. "Wait up!" Corey yelled. "Bernie! Hey, Bernie! Wait up!" The guy on the radio was reading some dirty limericks, and a girl in the background asked him where he put the beer. He said something back, but by the time we were on the beach, I looked back to see how Corey was doing. He was coming down on his backside as usual, and he looked so ludicrous. I felt a little sorry for him. "Run with me," I said to Susie. "Why?" I slapped her on the can and she squealed. "Just because it feels good to run." We ran. She fell behind, panting like a horse, and calling out to me, "Slow down!" But I put her out of my head. The wind rushed past my ears and blew the hair off my forehead. I could smell the salt in the air, sharp and tart. The surf pounded. The waves were like foamed black glass. I kicked off my rubber sandals, and I pounded across the sand barefoot, not minding the sharp digs of the occasional shell. My blood roared. And then there was them. Lean and Needles, already inside, and Kelly and Joan standing beside it, holding hands and looking at the water. I did a forward roll across the sand and back down, the sand coming down the back of my shirt. I fetched up against Kelly's legs. He fell on top of me and rubbed my face in the sand while Joan laughed. We got up and grinned at each other. Susie had given up running and was plodding toward us. Corey had almost caught up to her. "Some fire," Kelly said. "Do you think he came all the way from New York like he said?" Joan asked. "Don't know. I couldn't see that it mattered anyway. He had been behind the wheel of a big Lincoln when we found him, semi-conscious and raving. His head was bloated the size of a football. His neck looked like a sausage. He had cat and trips, and not far to go either. So we took him up to the point that overlooks the beach, and we burned him. Said his name was Elvin Sackheim. kept calling for his grandmother. He thought Susie was his grandmother. That struck her funny. God knows why. The strangest thing strikes Susie funny. It was Corey's idea to burn him up, but it started off as a joke. He had read all those books about witchcraft and black magic at college, and he kept leering at us in the dark beside Alvin Zackheim's Lincoln, telling us that if we made a sacrifice to the dark gods, maybe the spirits would keep protecting us. Of course, none of us really believed any of that bullshit, but the talk got us more and more serious. It was a new thing to do, and finally, we just went ahead and did it. We tied him to an observation gadget up there. You know, put a dime in, and on a clear day, you can see all the way to Portland Headlight. We tied him up with our belts, and then we went rooting around for dry brush and hunks of driftwood like kids playing a new kind of hide and seek. All this time we were doing it, Alvin Sackheim just sort of leaned there and mumbled to his grandmother. Susie's eyes got very bright, and she was breathing fast. It was really turning her on. When we were down on the ravine, on the other side of the outcrop, she leaned against me and kissed me. She was wearing too much lipstick, and it was like kissing a greasy plate. I pushed her away, and that was when she started pouting. We went back up, all of us, piled dead branches and twigs on Alvin Hackheim's waist. Needles lit the fire with his Zippo. It went up fast, and at the end, just before his hair caught fire, the guy began to scream, and there was a smell like sweet Chinese pork. Got a cigarette? Needles asked.
There is a creature alive today who has survived millions of years of evolution without change, without passion, and without logic. It lives to kill. A mindless eating machine. It will attack and devour anything. It is as if God created the devil and gave him jaws.
Nintendo Entertainment System. Now you're playing with power.
Jaws, rated PG, may be too intense for younger children.
At 11, see why your future commute might put you in one of these.
It's his biggest blockbuster ever.
I'll be back.
A network television premiere. Catch him and her
Hasta la vista, baby.
in Terminator 2, Sunday, here on ABC. Parental discretion advised.
Monday, she had everything she wanted until a fellow cop took everything away.
Charlie Lloyd raped me.
Now, one woman stands alone.
You haven't got a prayer.
Lori Loughlin, Reginald Vell Johnson, and Martin Sheen, one of her own, Monday on ABC.
So, as you can tell, this is just a great group of kids, aren't they? But in their insanity, if you listen, there was almost that hint of, I feel bad for it. But the world had gone to such hell, it was as if they just didn't know how to react or even what to do. Now, as you're listening, I think it went to that point. They discussed the world was basically dead. You know, they were all that was left after a disease. And then if you go back and you watch The Stand, you'll actually notice a lot of similarities. So, to me, in my opinion here, I think this group of kids, they were forgotten about by Flag, and Mother Abigail didn't come to them because they had bad souls. These kids, in a weird way, they were literally the last evil on the planet. Because the nuke took out Las Vegas. The nuke took out all the evil people. Flag disappeared, according to the story. Now, if you know Stephen King lore, you'll know Randall Flagg did make several more appearances after. But it also comes down to... Sorry, we had to adjust our heat here. We're trying to get this cooking. I guess I didn't exactly let the oil heat up enough. So, yes, I mean, Randall Flagg did come back. But these kids, Randall Flagg just sort of forgot about him. And then you listen to their story, you listen to how they are, you can almost understand why. I mean, even Randall Flagg is just like, you kids aren't even worth it. You're stupid. But, you know, Cavalier, August issue, the Cavalier magazine, published this on page 26. And I gotta be honest, I think it's one of the greatest Stephen King short stories I've ever had the privilege of reading. Now, I'll be honest, if you guys go and get the audiobook for Night Shift by Stephen King, released in 1977, you'll notice two things. The story is actually a little bit longer, and if you listen to the audiobook, it's actually read by John Glover, who really did do a way better job with the story than I did. This is my interpretation of the book. I love this audiobook, though. John Glover, in my opinion, is one of the most talented voice actors out there. I mean, yeah, he was a good actor. Everybody knows him. Gremlins 2. He was played with Bill Murray in Scrooged in 1989. I mean, excellent actor. But I gotta be honest, when I've heard him do his audio stuff, his books, or his voice acting and other things, the guy is so talented. So, when you guys get done here, well, I'm not going to tell you where to find it because, quite frankly, I refuse to support that fucking bullshit app. However, you can find it, and if you go through other places, I'm sure you can buy the entire audiobook on CD. Those of you who still want physical media and not just downloaded bullshit. Me personally, if I'm going to pay for something, I want to own it. And downloading it, I don't technically own it. They can take it away anytime they choose. So yeah, I don't really buy or download buys that kind of shit. I'm one, I want the physical media, you know? For instance, my favorite show, and it's on all these different streaming platforms. You gotta pay for that shit. This whole pay TV idea was bullshit when it started in 1967. What got big in 1967, they were doing commercials all the way back to 1963 telling you, stop pay TV. Stop them. You shouldn't have to pay for the news. You shouldn't have to pay to watch the football game. You shouldn't have to pay to watch Saturday night's wrestling match. You shouldn't have to pay to see a boxing match that's televised unless you're going to go see it personally in person there at the theaters. So, stop pay TV. Go buy it. It's a huge box set. Like, fucking, 156 episodes. It's the entire series. I paid $56. It's Blu-ray. Excellent quality. Every episode, including the banned episodes, the TV won't show because it's too close to home. Right here. Physical media is always best. And I won't lie, honestly, I'm not a big Blu-ray DVD fan. You know what I miss? Ouch! I miss VHS. The best form of physical media ever made. You know what? Yeah, so your VCR might have ate your tape once or twice, just like those cassette tapes. Just wind it back up. Hit that little button on the side, pull it open, and just wind your tape back up. Good as new. Tape snaps, you take a little bit of nail polish. Red, clear, green, purple, blue, pink, yellow, whatever. Just some nail polish. You piece that tape back together, underside, right on top. You leave it set there for 24 hours. Pop that sucker back on the VCR. You might see a little teeny tiny fucking 30-second glitch, but your movie's gonna play. You fuck up that fucking DVD, fuck it, forget it. You might as well throw it in the trash. Because it'll skip and it'll hold, it'll pause. It's a waste. So again, this is a type of physical media that really, just like Laserdisc back in the 80s, should have gone the way of the fucking dodo. It's a waste of money. Unfortunately, we live in the future. In the future, everyone has DVD. Well, I tell you what, invest in VHS, and I right now want to proclaim that we need to bring VHS back to all store shelves worldwide. Fuck your Blu-rays and DVDs. Get the VHS. Enjoy your movie. Same with CDs. Fuck those CDs. Throw them in the trash. Let's bring back 8-track tapes. Besides, 8-track tape always did have the better quality, sound-wise. Unless you want to get into vinyl and records. Now there, nothing is better than a good vinyl. Nothing. You get yourself a record from 1974. Led Zeppelin 4. Perfect example. Led Zeppelin 4. You go listen to Battle of Evermore on the fucking record. And again, it's got to be a stereo from the 70s too. That counts. That counts. These newfangled Bluetooth bullshits, they don't handle nothing. They're bullshit. You want a good stereo with good sound? You go get yourself a fucking stereo. I mean, the big clunker that weighed 50 fucking pounds in the head, the 8-track, the tape, the AM FM radio, the record thing on top. You know? Bring that some bitch in. You get your speakers that are fucking up to your waist or even higher. You know, the type of speakers your fucking parents or grandparents used to have, that we would turn around, we would use them as fucking shelves. I used to store fucking lighters, books, fuck, I used to put my weed on top of it and use it to break up my weed while I was listening to Zeppelin. And that's my point. You get yourself one of those stereos, one of the good ones from like 1976. Turn around. You get yourself the record, Led Zeppelin 4, and then you turn around and you go get the CD. That remaster 2009. Yeah, go buy that piece of shit, then play the record, and you will hear a difference. And there is a significant difference. Record is the best form of media. And when it comes to tapes, whether it be VHS, 8-track, way superior quality. Yeah, your cassette tapes might have been smaller, more compact. How many times did they break? How many times did those 8-tracks break? Oh, damn. Oh, we are cooking now. Look at that. Look at that. We are cooking. And speaking of cooking, now that they've had their little cookout on the beach, what say we get back and find out what they're up to? We'll see you right here after this.
It's 1987. Do you know where Freddy is? There's no waking up from this nightmare. A Nightmare on Elm Street, Part 3, Dream Warriors.
Do it better with Mrs. Dash. Do it better with Dash, Mrs. Dash. Do it hot, do it cold, do it spicy, do it bold. Do it better with Dash.
It's the sassy Mrs. Dash blend of 14 herbs and spices that makes flavor bigger, bolder, better. Mrs. Dash, good for food, good for you.
Do it healthy, do it light, do it smart, do it tonight. Do it better with Dash. Yeah, Mrs. Dash.
If you're gonna do something different, you better do it better. Take this incredible camcorder, the Sharp View Cam. The viewfinder, gone. Replaced with this LCD view screen. So it sits in your hand, not stuck to your face. I can shoot up, down, even myself. And watch this, instant playback.
Come on, Daddy.
ViewCam, only from Sharp. Now score big. Get up to a $200 rebate when you buy a Sharp ViewCam. Hurry, call 1-800-B-SHARP and see it at your dealer today.
Miracle-Gro is an absolute miracle worker. This is the result, and that's the result.
I had even bigger ones than this, really bigger. But we gave them away, show off.
You'll never know what a great gardener you can be until you use Miracle-Gro.
It didn't have to end this way. A trusted friend, neglected and lost. A tragedy you might have prevented, if only you'd known. About Slick 50 engine formulas. Slick 50's unique chemistry bonds to engine parts. It reduces deadly wear up to 50% for 50,000 miles. So protect the ones you love with Slick 50. Automotive, high performance, and new synthetic engine formulas. The world's #1 selling engine treatments.
To soothe athlete's foot, Desinex does it. But to cure athlete's foot, Desinex does it. Only Desinex has UDA to both soothe the discomfort and kill the fungus. To soothe and cure, Desinex does it all.
It's amazing. A guided tour of where you may go when you die. This woman says she's been there.
I had never felt greater tranquility in my life.
And she'll tell you about it on 2020 Plus.
When you fly, just how fresh and clean is the air up there? We took our own flights and did our own tests. And what we found, you should know. 2020 Friday.
Stephen King's The Stand will continue in a moment here on ABC.
And welcome back. Now, we finished our pork chop, and if you take a look, you get a good picture here. Both sides nice and toasty. And what we're going to do is, for this point, we're going to take our pan of oil, which is hot, god damn, and we're going to set this off to the side and let it cool so we can dispose of it properly. I'm going to dump it in the dumpster so all the homeless people that keep trashing my property without getting blamed for it, that way they'll be less likely to dig, or at least they got to pay for it when they dig and make a mess out of my shit. I ain't got nothing against homeless people. I ain't got nothing against fucking dumpster diving. I do it myself when I need to. But I got a problem when you make a mess, when you act like a pig, and when I'm getting in trouble for some shit that I didn't even fucking know happened. Anyway, we're going to take our plate, we're going to flap it right on top of that paper plate. Now the reason we got this on the paper plate is so it soaks up like all that extra grease. And we're just going to take this, we're going to take and just set it, whoops, sorry kitty cat, right there. That'll keep it warm while we start our vegetables and the water for our boxed mashed potatoes. On our next break, or when we come back from our next break rather, we are going to doctor up those potatoes, and I will show you guys exactly how to do that, the precise way to give you the best flavor possible out of instant anything. Now, as far as our vegetables, I would always recommend fresh, but sometimes fresh is a little more expensive and harder to come by. Again, being poor, you got to make do with what you can grab. So, went to Walmart. We bought a cheap package of frozen vegetables. What I'm going to do with these is I'm going to take... Ah, shit, that hurt. I am going to take a stick of butter, and I'm going to cut this in half. Let's move to the side. Well, that's kind of in half. We're going to take the bigger side, throw it in. We're going to take this side, we're going to put it back in the fridge. Oh, wait, no. We're going to take this side. Fuck, I'm retarded. Okay. No, we're going to take that bigger side, and we're going to put that aside for our mashed potatoes. And we're going to take the little one and put it in here. And you know, I'm just not done yet. So, now we're going to take some onion powder. Light sprinkle right across, just like so. We're going to take some jalapeno pepper. Very lightly. It's not only expensive, but it also has quite a kick. This is literal jalapeno peppers chopped down to be like black pepper. Light sprinkle. You don't want much or you're going to burn the shit out of your mouth and your asshole. Something like that. Now, of course, we need garlic. That is our secret weapon tonight. Garlic. And I'll tell you what. Again, I've been watching the internet, and since today is Inauguration Day, and I hate to admit it, I gave it the time of day, and I listened to all the liberal meltdowns and all the whack jobs. My God, I thought I was a vampire. I think I need the garlic to save myself from the other vampires that are out there fucking truly. Woo! I like my bloody steaks, but I'm not out there trying to suck people dry. Lightweight right across. And we're going to actually save that garlic, and we're going to put that aside with our chives. Now, for the record, yes, I know normally we don't drink on the air, but tonight's a different kind of Cafe Noir. We went back to our killer kitchen for just tonight, maybe longer. If you guys like what you're seeing, let me know in the comments below. And where most people would say at this point, oh, subscribe, this and that. I hope you guys do like it. For when you do hit the like or subscribe, it helps me out. And I'm not going to ask. And the reason I'm not going to ask is that's one of the reasons I don't subscribe to most YouTube channels. I like your content, I'll come back and watch. But if every video, every fucking 2 seconds, you're putting that flash up there of like, or telling somebody to like your shit, telling somebody to subscribe, it's quite frankly, it's just aggravating. And I'm not going to be that kind of host. I want the subscriptions. I do like, yeah, and it makes me feel good when a lot of people like it. But you know, what's more important than the likes and the subscriptions? Just you guys watching and hanging out. And that's what I like. That's what I want. And I appreciate that. So, thank you guys for hanging out with us today. And just goofing around and grooving. Alright, anyway, I just had to get that out of the way. That is one thing that bugs the shit out of me. Every time you watch somebody, and there is some good content out there. Granted, there's a lot more bullshit content. But, you know, there is some good stuff. But it's aggravating with every 5 seconds to, ooh, hey, subscribe. Just my opinion. I'm not going to drudge on it. I'm not going to keep talking shit. But I wanted to say it. Because that's something that always aggravated me. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you. And those that have subscribed, fucking A, man. You really do rock. I appreciate it. But I don't want to press it, and I don't want to be like a fucking beggar for it either. I just want people to dig the show and have some fun with us. The views mean more to me than any of the other crap. And honestly, I'm not into monetizing anyway. I'm having too much fun being me. The minute I monetize, I gotta deal with all the bullshit. Fuck that bullshit. If I want to say fuck, I'm going to say fuck. If I want to say shit, I'm going to say shit. If I want to say cocksucker motherfucker, goddammit motherfuck cock, 100 fucking times through the whole show, I got that right. The minute I monetize, I can't. Fuck all that. Now, we're going to take our spoon, and we're going to use the spoon that has the holes. And we're going to start kind of just stirring this up. Just like that. Oh man, that's got a good scent to it, huh, Cam? Cam Pam, ladies and gentlemen, running our second camera. Want to give her notice, because she's been helping us since Killer Kitchen, Café. From the very first time when I just started fucking around making music videos, Cam Pam was the one always running the cameras. And I want you guys to know that without her, nothing we've ever done would have been possible. So, I want you guys to know that. She has been such a help. In fact, sometimes some of our meals that we've cooked, I've been a little confused or I got a little too stoned. Cam Pam is who actually helped that camera go when the camera was off. So, she is more than just our camera operator. She is our manager, our fucking... She keeps the whole show in line. If it weren't for her, we'd just be a drunken mess stumbling over shit and burning food. Anyway, at this point, I'd say it's a good time to get to the conclusion of Night Surf by Stephen King. And I am going to sit here and melt this butter and cook this shit. Which, I could keep rambling, but I'm sure you guys probably want to know what's going to happen. So, we'll ramble after. See you after this. It's about 50 cartons right behind you. He grinned, slapped a mosquito probing his arm. Don't want to move. I gave him a smoke and sat down. Susie and I met Needles in Portland. He was sitting on a curb in front of the State Theater, playing Lead Belly tunes on his big Gibson guitar that he'd looted someplace. Sound echoed up and down the Congress Street, as if you were playing in a concert hall. Susie stopped in front of us, still out of breath. You're rotten, Bernie. Come on, Sue. Turn the record over. That side stinks. Bastard. Stupid, unfeeling son of a bitch. Creep! Go away, I said, or I'll black your eye. See if I don't. She started to cry again. She was really good at it. Corey came up and tried to put an arm around her. She elbowed him in the crotch. He spit in her face. I'll kill you! She came at him, screaming and weeping, making propellers with her hands. Corey backed off, almost fell, then turned tail and ran. Susie followed him, hurling hysterical obscenities. Needles put his head back and laughed. The sound of Corey's radio came back to us faintly over the surf. Kelly and Joan had wandered off. I could see them by the edge of the water, walking with their arms around each other's waist. They looked like an ad in a travel agent's window. Fly to beautiful St. Lurca. It was all right. They had a good thing. Bernie. What? I sat and I smoked. Thought about Needles flipping back the top of his Zippo, spinning the wheel, making fire with the flint and steel like a caveman. I've got it, Needles said. Yeah? I looked at him. Are you sure? Sure I am. My head aches, my stomach aches, hurts to piss. Maybe it's just the Hong Kong flu. Susie had Hong Kong flu. She wanted a Bible, and I laughed. That had been a while. We were still at the university, about a week before they closed it down for good. A month before they started carrying out bodies in dump trunks and burying them mass graves with payloaders. Look. He lit a match and held it under the angle of his jaw. I could see the first triangular smudges, the first swelling. It was A6, all right. Okay, I said. I don't feel so bad, he'd said. In my mind, I mean. You know, I think about it a lot. I can tell. No, I don't. A lie. Sure you do. Like that guy tonight, you're thinking about that too. You know, we probably did him a favor when you get right down to it. I don't think he even knew what was happening. He knew. He shrugged and turned on his side. Doesn't matter. We smoked and I watched the surf come in and go out. Needles had Captain Trips. Made everything real all over again. It was late August. Already in a couple weeks the first chill of fall would be creeping in. Time to move inside someplace. Winter. Dead by Christmas, maybe. All of us in somebody's front room. With Corey's expensive radio tape player on top of a bookcase full of Reader's Digest condensed books and weak winter sun lying on the rug in meaningless window pane patterns. The vision was clear enough to make me shudder. Nobody should think about winter in August. It's like a goose walking over your grave. Needles laughed. See? You do think about it. What could I say? I stood up. Going to look for Susie. Maybe we're the last people on Earth, Bernie. Did you ever think of that? In the faint moonlight, he already looked half dead, with circles under his eyes and pallid, unmoving fingers like pencils. I walked down to the water and looked out across it. There was nothing to see but restless moving humps of waves, topped by delicate curls of foam. The thunder of breakers was tremendous down here, bigger than the world, like standing inside a thunderstorm. I closed my eyes and I rocked my bare feet. The sand was cold and damp. It was packed. If we were the last people on Earth, so what? This would go on as long as there would be a moon to pull the water. Susie and Corey were up the beach. Susie was riding him as if he were a bucking bronc, pounding his head into the running boil of the water. Corey was flailing and splashing. They were both soaked. I walked down and pushed her off with my foot. Corey splashed away on all fours, spluttering and woofing. "I hate you," Susie screamed at me. Her mouth was dark and grinning crescent. It looked like the entrance to a funhouse. When I was a kid, my mother used to take us to Harrison State Park. There was a funhouse with a big clown face on the front, and you had to walk through the mouth. "Come on, Susie. Up, Fido." I held out my hand. She took it doubtfully and stood up. There was damp sand clotted on her blouse and skin. "You didn't have to push me, Bernie. You don't ever..." "Come on." She wasn't like a jukebox. You never had to put in a dime, and she never came unplugged. We walked up the beach toward the main concession. The man who ran the place had a small overhead apartment. There was a bed. She didn't really deserve a bed, but Needles was right about that. It didn't matter. No one was really scoring the game anymore. The stairs went up the side of the building, but I paused, just for a minute, to look inside the broken window at the dusty wares inside that no one had cared enough to loot. Stacks of sweatshirts, Anson Beach, and the picture of the sky and waves printed on the front. Glittering bracelets that would green on your wrists second day. Bright junk earrings, beach balls, dirty greeting cards, badly painted ceramic Madonnas, plastic vomit. So realistic. Try it on your wife. 4th of July sparklers for a 4th that never was. Beach towels with voluptuous girl in a bikini standing amid the names of hundreds of famous resorts, areas, pennants. A souvenir of Anson Beach and Park, balloons, bathing suits. There was a snack bar up front with a big sign saying, "Try our clam cake special."
Do you know me? I travel all over the world, and the underworld too, constantly searching for new dreamscapes to invade. Believe it or not, some people still don't recognize me. That's why I carry this. And this Friday, I'll be traveling to your neighborhood in Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors. I'll be looking for you, so you'd better be there.
One of the guys found one new burger that eats like two. Introducing the tasty new Mega Double Cheese from Burger King. One sandwich with 2 burgers for 1/3 pound of flame-broiled taste. It's 50% bigger than our double cheeseburger used to be. And at the everyday price of just $1.99, since the burger got bigger, the value did too. The new Mega Double Cheese, just $1.99 every day at Burger King. We may not be the world's #1 fast food place. It just tastes that way.
Hello, you've got to try Muslix.
Some kind of a joke?
No, it's something you eat.
Maybe it's something you eat.
Once you get past the name Muslix,
Oh, please just try it.
you're going to be real surprised by the taste.
Sweet.
Crunchy.
Raisins?
Almonds?
Dates?
Kellogg's Muslix cereal has a cup of fruit and nuts in each box.
I'm surprised it's wonderful. Thank you so.
Thank you.
On my way now.
Bye-bye. Hello, you've got to try Muslix.
Kellogg's Muslix.
You gotta be kidding me.
This is the place.
Told them you were living downtown, driving all the old men crazy.
There they are.
Cold filtered Miller Genuine Draft. The cold one.
I'm
So get out of the oven and get into the cold.
I used to come to Anson Beach a lot when I was still in high school. That was 7 years before A6. And I was going with a girl named Noreen. She was a big girl. She had a pink checked bathing suit. I used to tell her it looked like a tablecloth. We'd walked along the boardwalk in front of this place, barefoot, the boards hot and the sand beneath our heels. We had never tried the clam cake special. What are you looking at? Nothing. Come on. I had sweaty, ugly dreams about Evan Sackheim. He was propped behind the wheel of his shiny yellow Lincoln, talking about his grandmother. He was nothing but a bloated, blackened head and a charred skeleton. He smelled burnt. He talked on, and after a while I couldn't make out a single word. I woke up breathing hard. Susie was sprawled across my thighs, pale and bloated. My watch said 3:50, but it had stopped. It was still dark out. The surf pounded and smashed. High tide. Make it 4:15. Light soon. I got out of bed and went to the doorway. Sea breeze felt fine against my hot body in spite of it all. I didn't want to die. I went over to the corner and grabbed a beer. There were 3 or 4 cases of Bud stacked against the wall. It was warm because there was no electricity. I don't mind warm beer like some people do, though. Just foams a little more. Beer is beer. I went back out in the landing and sat down and pulled the ring tab and drank up. So here we were, the whole human race wiped out. Not by atomic weapons, bio-warfare, or pollution, or anything grand like that. Just the flu. I'd like to put down a huge plaque somewhere in the Bonneville Salt Flats, maybe Bronze Square, 3 miles on a side. And in big raised letters it would say, for the benefit of any landing aliens, just the flu. I tossed the beer can over the side. It landed with a hollow clank on the cement walk that went around the building. The lean, too, was dark triangle on the sand. I wondered if Needles was awake. I wondered if I would be. Bernie? She was standing in the doorway, wearing one of my shirts. I hate that. She sweats like a pig. You don't like me much anymore, do you, Bernie? I didn't say anything. There were times when I could feel sorry for everything. She didn't deserve me any more than I deserved her. Can I sit down with you? I doubt if it would be wide enough for the both of us. She made a choked, hiccuping noise and started to go back inside. Needles has got A6, I said. She stopped and looked at me. Her face was very still. Don't joke, Bernie. I lit a cigarette. He can't. He had A2. Hong Kong flu, just like you and me and Corey and Kelly and Joan. But that would mean he immune. Yeah. Then we could get it too? Maybe he lied when he said he had A2, so we'd take him along with us. At the time. Relief spilled across her face. Sure, that was it. I would have lied had it been me. Nobody likes to be alone, do they? She hesitated, coming back to bed. Not just now. She went inside. I didn't have to tell her that M was no guarantee against A6. She knew that. She had just blocked it out. I sat and watched the surf. It was really up. Years ago, Anson had been the only halfway decent surfing spot in the state. Point was a dark, jumping hump, just against the sky. I thought I could see the upright. That was the observation post, but it was probably just imagination. Sometimes Kelly took Joan up to the point. I didn't think they were up there tonight. I put my face in my hands and clutched it, feeling the skin, its grain and texture. It was all narrowing so swiftly, and it was all so mean. There was no dignity in it. The surf, coming in, coming in, coming in, limitless, clean and deep. We had come here in the summer, Maureen and I. The summer after high school, the summer before college, and reality, and A6 coming out of the Southeast Asia, and covering the world like a pall. July, we had eaten pizza and listened to her radio. I'd put oil on her back. She had put oil on mine. The air had been hot, the sand bright, and the sun like burning glass. And that, my friends, is the conclusion to Night Surf. Now, do you see what I was talking about when I said how it's connected in a way to the Stand universe? I gotta be honest, the reason I like it the most is because it is that perspective of the group that wasn't good or evil, they just existed. I like that concept. Because there are those of us out here, we're not bad people, we're not exactly good people. We mean well, but we fuck up and make mistakes. Some of them are really sick mistakes that are trashy. But it's a mistake. And I like that Stephen King acknowledges that. Even if it is in a separate story. And in a way, I even like that. The fact that it is a separate story away from the Stand. Because the Stand is already like the length of the Bible. I mean, 2,000 plus pages. Kind of like Stephen King's It. Okay, I gotta let the cat out. Go ahead, Jackwagon. Shit. Thank you. Okay. Back to what I was saying. Had to let the cat out, let him run. Bring in the dog and put out the cat. That's all I can say without getting in trouble. Copyright. I never played it. I just sang a piece, one line. Like I said, YouTube has been fucking me on everything they can. I'm trying really hard to be good. Well, at the same time, I'm going to play by my rules. See, I learned a long time ago. You can bend the rules. You can break some rules. But you still got to play the game. You can choose what game you want to play, but you've got to play by the rules of that game. So, with that in mind, we've chosen to cook. So why don't we get to cooking and I'll shut my pie hole for a minute. But at the same time, I couldn't resist. I wanted to get into this because I love this story. In fact, in a way, I think I actually like this short story more than I like The Stand. However, I gotta be honest, I like Freddy and Jason and Michael Myers, all that stuff. But I gotta be honest, the coolest villain that I have ever had the privilege of getting to read about and getting to know is Flag. And he shows up in the most inconspicuous places as you're reading Stephen King's work. Now, I'll tell you the truth. Politically, well, let's just say Stephen King is exactly the type of rich person that we all are used to reading about. Politically, I have no respect, and I really don't even acknowledge it. As far as his work, I gotta be honest. I would call Stephen King the Edgar Allan Poe of our time. I really would. And I have a great respect for Poe's work. I love it. It's some of my favorite work. And as you guys are watching the channel, one of our other channels, it won't end up here on the Café Noir, unless we do something like this again. But we're going to be doing a small piece, and it's going to be a collection of some of his most famous poems. If not his most famous, my personal favorite. I'm going to choose 3 to 5, and I'm just going to do a narration. And, you know, if there's something you guys are into, check that out. I should have that out by next week. Anyway, we're going to take these potatoes, and we're going to just go halfway into the bowl. Fuck them. First thing we're going to do, is we're going to take that water, which is now boiling. Whoa, yeah, baby. And drop that fucking half a stick of butter in there. Whoops. Now, we're going to take our garlic. I'm going to pop this lid off because I ain't trying to sprinkle. I want to add this garlic. I want some fucking garlicky mashed potatoes. Yeah, something about like that. Fuck it. Throw some more. You know what? Fuck it. Throw the whole damn thing in there. Now we're going to take some chives. Now these we're going to be a little more careful with because you don't want too many. Something about like that. Just see if you guys can get a look down here. There we go. About like that. I'm not going to do too many more. Okay, that is totally it. That's probably too many, but it'll still taste good, Pam. Alright. Now, we're going to take some parsley, and again, this one I am going to just sprinkle. I just want a little bit. Tastes good. A lot of people say they don't taste parsley. I can taste it, and I like it. I think it's really good. Another thing you guys can do, those of you who live in a state where it's legal to own, legal to carry, legal to do whatever, and I may talk a lot of shit to the liberals, but I gotta be honest, the one reason I think I stay living in a liberal state is because where they may strip me of most of my rights, at least I can smoke a joint, watch fucking Beavis and Butthead, and forget about the BS for a while. And I appreciate being able to do that. Some of those other states, it's not exactly something you can get away with, and it sucks. Because, I mean, you know what, let's be honest. The only reason marijuana was ever illegal was because the paper industry was losing money thanks to the hemp industry. And honestly, hemp was cheaper. It was easier to grow. And you got a better product. And you know what? The truth is, when it comes right down to it, hemp simply is a safer product, whereas you're cutting down millions of trees. We need those forests. I don't know if you guys know this, or if the government gets it or not. You know, you'd think it's the government. They got all these scientists and shit. We need the trees to breathe. So maybe cutting down the trees so that you have a piece of paper to write on, so that you can fucking make a baseball bat. Cut down this fucking big-ass hunk of tree, get this little fucking wiffle bat-looking thing. Fuck! And again, you know, like I said, it's just common sense. And that's the only reason weed was ever illegal. Now, I'm not saying that the whole country needs to be a bunch of fuck potheads, alright? Moderation. Everything in moderation. Let's be blunt. It's better to be a pothead than a drunk. I don't know about the guy who came home stoned and beat up his wife, but you hear all the time about the guy who came home fucked up on his fucking whiskey and beat up his wife. So, and I'm a drinker. I am a drinker. Fuck, I'm drinking a beer right now. So I'm not knocking alcohol, but I am making the point. This is legal. And as far as this whole thing making cigarettes illegal, right now, that's bullshit. And it's just as much bullshit. And all you did was find another boogeyman. And Rob Reiner, I'm telling you to your face, you can suck my fucking dick. You're a fucking punk-ass bitch. I don't give a shit. You get your fucking lawyers. Let me tell you right now, I ain't got nothing to take. I got nothing to take. So you get your fucking lawyers and try to squeeze milk from a lemon. I don't give a fuck. Try it. But you're a punk-ass bitch. Fuck you. I'm sorry that you don't want to smell a cigarette while you're having your fucking martini at the bar. Get the fuck out of the bar, go to a restaurant. But the bar, that's always been a place for people, especially those of us who might have gone through bad times and went through something bad that day, and you don't want to go home, and you just want to sit, chain smoke a pack of fucking Marlboros, drink your fucking bourbon and fucking Coke, and just be left the fuck alone while sad country music plays on the fucking jukes. And I'm sorry, but that's the American fucking way. Anyway. Now, we're going to take our whisk, we're going to whisk this all up together. The reason I said use the whisk is with the whisk, you'll be able to actually get a better feel for what you're doing, you know, and it gets it totally sunk in. I'm looking. It smells pretty good. It looks all right, but just not there yet. You know what? Something's missing. Something is missing, and I think I know what. I need that. Ah, there we go. We're going to take a little bit of ground thyme. Just like that. Very little bit. You don't need much. This shit's potent. Oh, that is... Oh, my God, that is going to fucking taste so good. Now, it's got a little bit more of a Italian feel. You guys are going to dig this, I promise you. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to set that aside. Down here, just for now. Our next project. This one's going to be a little bit more fun. We're going to take our can of turkey gravy. Why turkey gravy? Somebody gave it to us, and to that person, thank you, it was really cool. And we've had it up in the cabinet there, and I decided I wanted some gravy with my taters today. Hey, turkey gravy, what the fuck? Why not? Pork and turkey kind of do work together anyway, poultry and pork. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take that mix, that seasoning that we took to and put together earlier. We're going to take just a little bit of that. Here we go. Half a teaspoon. Right in. Just like that. Next, we're going to take a tablespoon of milk. And it's safe just to do it over. That way, if you get a little drippage, it goes into your pot instead of on your counter. There we go. Now, we're going to put that on the heat. And we're going to take our whisk. And we're going to start to whisk that gently, just like so. And that's about what you're looking for right there. Our water is doing very nice. That is ready to go. Ah, that's perfect. And once that gravy heats up, our dinner is just about ready. But you know, there's one thing. When we set up our little batter and did our thing when we fried the pork chops, well, you know, I just broke open too many eggs. I guess just the one egg would have been enough. And I wasn't sure about that. Now I know. So, I took and I broke up 2 more eggs, dropped it in there. We're going to make some scrambled eggs and drop our scrambled eggs in on top of our deep fried pork chop. That will just give it that extra finishing touch to really fill your belly and put you to bed nice and early with a good, clean mind. In fact, for those of you watching, if you're digging it and if you're interested, what I would say, check this out, is if you go and if you're able to find the channel, we have a channel out there called The Collector. And it's just a collection of shit that I've grabbed for music videos or whatever. And some people have found it, they like it. It's also where we post stuff that's a little more risque, and I don't want to post it to the big channel, and I don't want to post it to Café Noir. That's where you'll find some of our copyrighted content, but still okay. I mean, I can't make money on it or whatever, like we went into that before. But at the same time, I'm not going to get fucked with. I'm not going to get a red flag over it being on my channel. So if you guys can find the collector, you'll find several more stories, and you'll continue to find all the new stuff that I find that I'm working with. And those that dig our music channel, that's a good place to find some of our hard shit where I would never post it to something that people who know who I am. So there's something for you guys to kind of dig. Okay. We're just waiting for this gravy to heat up. Once this gravy heats up, we are going to pour the water into our mashed potatoes. We're going to stir that up using that guy. Another way you could do it too, and honestly the only reason I'm not doing it, you can whip them. You pull out your little mixer, you whip them, and I mean, yeah, whatever. I'm not doing it because quite frankly, I hate these fucking little things right here. It's a bitch to clean every fucking time, and I end up every single time I'm doing the fucking dishes getting my finger caught and damn near wanting to rip it off. And all I'm trying to do is wipe it clean. So, no, not today. No, thank you. We're going to do it the old-fashioned way and just mix the bitches up by hand. And honestly, I kind of like the lumps. I always did, though. I like lumpy mashed potatoes. I like to know that I'm eating a potato, even though they're soft and they're whipped up real good. I'll usually whip them, and sometimes what I'll do is I'll boil some potatoes on the side, right, as we do our mashed potatoes, and I'll whip those, and then I'll slice and dice fucking on the other potatoes, 3 or 4 of them, and throw those in, and then fucking whip them again. Perfect consistency. You know you're eating a potato, but it's just, it's so good. I mean, it's up there. It's almost as good as the double-baked potato. Almost. Which, you know what, that kind of reminds me. Ow. Here we go. Ah, shit, I need to cut it. Now, pre-cooked bacon. Honestly, I just hate cooking bacon because the grease is always a mess, and I really try to neglect on mess when possible. Something like this, not even a big deal. And being pre-cooked, it's going to make our job a lot easier right here for this. All right, now. Okay, there we go. I'm going to take 2 pieces, and I'm going to... Oh, fuck. Now, I'm just going to clip them down. Real small, just like that. I hadn't even thought about this, honestly, and then I brought up those twice-baked taters. In fact, that's something else, too. If you guys are interested, you want to see me how I make my twice-baked taters, let me know in the comments, dude, and I'm more than happy. I think it'd be a lot of fun. Here we go. Now we're doing them small because we want them to really mix up and go throughout all of the potatoes. And this will give it just that nice extra flavor. And don't worry about it being heated up, because once you pour that boiling water in, it's going to get fucking hot. Here we go. Something about like that. And it is tedious to do it this way, I won't lie. There's a lot to it. It can be a pain in the ass. But it's actually worth it in the end. In fact, I think I'm going to do just one more piece. Just one more. There we go. Fold it over. It's all... There we go. don't want to do too much and overload it. But this bacon is the perfect, and honestly, it's a nice compliment too, since we did the deep fried pork chops. The bacon in the mashed potatoes is a nice compliment. You know, pork and pork. There we go. That's kind of why I think I dig the idea of using the turkey gravy here tonight. Because one thing I found, at least in my opinion, is poultry and pork actually complement each other rather well on the same plate. Or if you're going to skewer them, make yourself a shish kebab, try some chicken, some turkey, and mix it up with some pieces of fucking like pork chop, you know, good thick, those good ones. Something like that. And skewer them that way over the flame. It's a great complement to each other. And that's when you take it, you kind of put a jalapeno on there, or maybe a tomato, like a baby red tomato if you're into that kind of dig, or a piece of pepper, and you just roll it through, something like that. Right there. I mean, it's the ultimate. And the thing about it is, the reason I'm telling you this is because as you're eating, you're getting one flavor, then you're getting another, and then you're complementing it all together on one. It's like a fucking party in your mouth, and everyone's coming. Except I'm not gay, so. We're gonna do this one more time. All right. Now, this is just about ready to go. I think we got time for just a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll finish up what we started here, guys.
There is a creature alive today who has survived millions of years of evolution without change, without passion, and without logic. It lives to kill. The mindless eating machine. It will attack and devour anything. It is as if God created the devil and gave him jaws.
Nintendo Entertainment System. Now you're playing with power.
Jaws, rated PG, may be too intense for younger children.
And welcome back. Now, that leftover egg from our mix, we added a couple more to it. And I mean, I figured, why throw it away? It's still good egg. And as far as like, oh, bacteria, blah, 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 whatever, because you dipped it in raw meat, well, you're going to cook that bacteria out right now. So, that's what I say to that. So, we're going to take, and we're just going to, oh yeah, just like that. Now, the secret to good, this is the wrong thing. Here we go. The secret to good scrambled eggs is to always keep them in motion. Add a little bit of milk, just like that. Now they'll be nice and fluffy. This would be the point in time too, if you guys wanted to add some cinnamon or any kind of seasoning to your eggs. I'm not going to do that because I'm just going to throw some salt and pepper across the top of them and call it done. There we go. But that is the secret to good scrambled eggs. A splash of milk, you put them on, and just keep that spatula in motion. You cut into your eggs, you move them around, and you just always keep them in motion so you don't have time to cook and burn. I mean, you want them to cook, but you don't want them to burn. So you keep them in motion, just like so. There you go. There. See, I like to double fist with my spatulas, and the truth is, it's kind of like having a drink, you know? I like to double fist my drinks, and I like to double fist my spatulas. It lets me get better control, too, so I can keep the temperature down, and I can get a good thorough, it's a nice cook. See? Just like that. Just like that, yeah. Now, if you guys get a spatula like this guy right here, this bat, as you're using it, it's kind of flimsy. It does bend. So you want to use the edges. That's your flat surface. Now, what's cool though is that top really lets you do something like this where you can mash that up, get it scrambled even better. Oh man, that just smells good. All right, let's unplug this. Turn it off. Damn you. Unplug it. And what you want to do, fuck me running. Now, and we're gonna take, shit. Fuck. Right on top. Just like so. There we go. And now, ow, fuck, that hurt. A little bit of salt. And a little bit of pepper. I'm gonna give myself another dash of salt. I like salt. Now, our mashed potatoes are next. There we go. And what you want to do is as you're dishing them, if you can do it right, give yourself a little divot, and that way you can fit your gravy right into the mashed potatoes. You fucktard. There we go. Now, there it is. We're going to take our gravy and just very gently, there, right in, a little bit more right across the top of here. And finally, we have our vegetable. And there you have a mess. Fuck me. A very nutritious meal. It doesn't take this long to cook, except that it did today because, well, we were talking and hanging out. You guys, thank you very much. I totally appreciate you hanging out. It's been a lot of fun tonight, and I hope you enjoyed the story. On my end, this is kind of the end. We've been on the air for way longer than what I should have been. And what's great about YouTube is I can run over. I'm not stuck on TV schedule, even though we do try to make it more like a regular TV program. Thanks for hanging out, but I got a mess to clean. Now, I will tell you, hold on. As a matter of fact, we're going to set this aside real quick. I just want to show you guys something. With this kind of thing, right here, and that kind of mess, this is an opportunity. If you guys pick up one of these, while it's still hot, you want to get a scrubby, like $1 for a pack of 8. And while it's still hot, get it wet, and just like, oh yeah, just like that. And don't worry about the mess. You can always sweep the damn floor. You can always wipe the fucking counter or the table or whatever. Get all that off of there. Get it wet. And the reason for getting it wet is they are plastic, and if the thing's hot or hot enough, it'll melt your shit, and then it'll ruin your fucking burner thing. So you don't want that. And there you go. got a little pocket spot here. You guys will look. Right here. It'll just catch everything down in there. Take a paper towel. I might have to wipe it down just a little more. And that's a quick, easy cleanup. And that has been advice from the kitchen. Right here on Café Noir. We'll see you guys next time. Thanks for hanging out. Keep on rocking.
Today, I got a real singer for ya. For chills, thrills, and spine-tingling stories. Tales from the Crypt Keeper. Today, here on ABC.
I was at the slaughterhouse. I got an uncle that works at the slaughterhouse. Hey, my brother works there. My grandfather, too. My family's always been in me.
How's Nancy doing?
I don't think she slept since Tina died. She's always been a delicate kid.
She's tougher than you think. Look, any idea how she knew Rod was going to kill himself?
No. All I know is that this reminds me too much of 10 years ago.
Yeah, well, let's not start digging up bodies just because we're in a cemetery.
There's a legend round here. A killer buried, but not dead. Few have seen him and lived. Some have even tried to stop him. No one can. They say he died as a boy.
You see, Jason was my son, and today is his birthday.
Some have even tried to stop him. No one can.
I want you to concentrate. Think about your feelings and just focus them in on the matchbook. Maybe we can get it to move.
Concentrate. Concentrate!
What's happening to me?
There goes the neighborhood. Paul, do you know about the early days at the Kimberley diamond mines? Do you know what they did to the native workers who stole diamonds?
Did you know that in the actual book of Stephen King's Misery, Annie Wilkes doesn't hit him with a sledgehammer, she actually cuts his feet off with an axe and sews them back into place.
Trust me.
God's sake!
It's for the best.
Eddie, please!
Almost done.